Hello everyone, so I'm going to correct the homework. So I have 3, 4. We said whenever the number of up is 2, 3, or 4, it is simple because I have to look at the number up. So let me define the meter. What is 3, 4? It means I have 3 quarter notes in a measure, and each quarter note takes the pulse, and each of these is divisible into 2. So this one I have 3 pulses, so it is triple. 9, 4. The number up is more than 4, therefore it is compound. We said that in compound, I have to group them in groups of 3. So already I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quarter notes that I'm going to group in groups of 3. The first of each 3 takes the pulse. So this one is compound triple also. 3, 8. The number up is smaller than 4, therefore it is simple. 3, 8 means I have 1, 2, 3. Each of these takes the pulse. Therefore it is simple triple. 6, 4. 6 is bigger than 4. Therefore it is compound. So here I have 6 quarter notes in a measure that I'm going to divide in groups of 3. The first of each takes the pulse. Therefore, I have 2 pulses, so duple. 2, 2. Again, 2 is smaller than 4, so therefore it is simple. 2, 2 means I have 2 half notes. Each of these half notes takes the pulse. How many pulses do I have? 2, therefore it is duple. Let's continue. 6, 8. 6, 8. 6 is greater than 4, therefore it is simple. 6, 8 means I have 6 eighth notes in a measure. I'm going to group them in 3. The first of each takes the pulse, therefore duple. Continuing. 4, 2. 4, therefore it is simple. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 half notes in a measure. Each of them takes the pulse, therefore quadruple. Now 12, 16, we're actually not responsible of it. 4, 8. I have 4 eighths. Of course, it's simple. Each of these eighths takes the pulse, so simple quadruple. And in the 9, 8, I have 9 eighth notes, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, grouped in 3, pulse, pulse, pulse. So this one is compound triple. Let's look at the other exercise. I've done the first measure, and I'm going to continue. So here we have, I'm gonna continue writing the count. 1 E and 2 E and, or and the same. 1 E and sorry, that's 3, 4 E and. So here, the pulse comes on the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. Let's do the next one. In the next one, I have 6, 8. 6, 8 means I have 6 eighth notes in a measure, and the first of each takes the pulse. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, my pulse comes on 1 and it comes on 4. Let's start by writing the counting. You're probably wondering why here I have only 3. So this can happen sometimes to have incomplete measures if it's the first or the last. We call it a pickup measure. So you always start by the last beat. So this would be 4, 5, 6, okay, because it's a pickup measure. It can only be in the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So where does my pulse come? On every 1 and 4. So 4, 1, 4, here. 4, 1, 4, 1. And even if it's a rest, it takes a rest, right? So here you have like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Continuing. With this one. So here, whenever you have this C with dashed, this is called cut time. This is the equivalent, so this is the equivalent of 2, 2. So in this case, I have 2 half notes in a measure, right? So 1, 2, and each of them takes the pulse. So again, you see here incomplete measure, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Each of these takes 1 pulse. 1, 2. 5, 8, you are not responsible of it. We continue. 6, 4. 6, 4 means I have 6 quarter notes in one measure, and the quarter note is equal to 1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And I would have, because it's compounds, an accent on each 3. So 1 on 1 and 1 on 4. So if I want to count, I would have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, my accents would be on 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, every 3. 3, 2 means I have 3 half notes in a measure, right? So 1, 2, 3, each one of them taking the pulse. See, incomplete measure, so I start by the end. So 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. You see the last measure is also incomplete. So here you have 1, 2, and the completion of it is the first measure. So this can only happen with extremities. And here, so my pulse I have on 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This note lasts 2 beats, so I need a pulse on 1 and of the 2 of the second note. So this note takes 2 pulses. 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and same for this note, it takes 2 pulses. 1 on 1 and 1 on 2. Continuing. 4, 8. 4, 8 means I have 4 eighth notes. Each one is equal to 1, therefore each one takes the pulse. So here I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. See here again my extremity, 1, 2, 3, and the 4 of it comes here. And therefore my pulse is on 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This note takes 2 pulses, 3, 4. Here I have a pulse on 1, 2, 3, 4. This one takes 2 pulses and 3. Okay. I want us now to look at assignment 1.8. So usually if we were in class, I'd like us to do these together and then we would correct them. So what I want you to do is I'm going to give you an example, then I'm going to tell you what to solve, pause the camera, solve them, and then put play to listen to the correction. So here, basically, what they're doing is that they're giving you measures that are written in the wrong way. So here, if you look, for example, 6/8. If you look at it by sight, it does not look like a 6/8. So for a 6/8, I have 6/8 notes and a measure grouped in 3. So my 8th notes need to look like this, right? With 1, 2, 3 beamed together and 4, 5, 6 beamed together. But here, look how they are written. They are beamed each 2 together. Personally, if I look at this, this would be good writing if this were a 3, 4, because I would have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and. But this is not a 3, 4. This is a 6/8, but by sight it would look like a 3, 4. See, they're mathematically equal, but I write them in different ways. So here, what needs to be done to adjust it, I need these 3 together and then these 3 together. So this is wrong writing. The good way of writing it should be no need to write them on the correct lines. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This way I can clearly see that my pulse comes on 1 and on 4. I'm going to circle for you the ones that I would like you to do, because not all of them. Press pause and then do it. So please just pause the camera and solve number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and that's it. So pause the camera, please, solve the circled ones. Okay, so we're back, assuming that you've solved them by yourself, and I'm going to go over them one by one. So this is a 2, 4. 2, 4 is simple. So it means I have 2 quarter notes. Each quarter note is equal to 2 8th notes, therefore I beam them, and each one is equal to 4 16th. So here, what's the mistake is that they beam together all of the 16th. And the point is that we want to show each beat alone. And here it's not clear anymore what's my beat. So basically, if here I have 1 E and A, 2 E and A, what I need to do here is break them. So I would have 1 E and A, and then 2 E and A with my pulse coming here and here. So as you can see already visually, it's much easier to look at. Number 3. Now number 3 is a bit far-fetched. This would not usually be wrong writing, but we can make it easier. Usually the students start falling in a bit in extremes in how to look at these, which we don't want. So here I have a half rests and 1. So 3, 4 means I have 3 quarter note in a measure. So that would be 1, 2, 3. So I'm not showing clearly the beats. So we can write 1, 2, 3. But again, I would not consider this one wrong writing, because then why would they invent the value of 2? So don't take this one too literally all the time. Let's continue. 2/4 means I have 2 quarter notes in a measure. Each one is equal to 2 eighth notes. Here, what's the problem? Separate, beamed. So I have here 1 and 2 and. So the mistake here that these should be beamed. So that would be a 1 and, 2 and. This is much clearer. I cannot write these 2 eighth notes as separate. Let's look at number 5. 3/4. I have here 1 and, 2 and, 3 and. And they're tied. So basically these add up to a half note. Why would I complicate myself and write them like this? Right? This is a note that has a value of 2 beats, and this is a note that has a value of 2 beats. So why would I complicate myself and write it like this? So this should very simply be 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, or just 2, 3. Basically, it's the same. Here, I have a long note of 9 beats. So what they did is that they put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tied to the 9. But the problem is in the 9/8, it's compound. So I need to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need to clearly see my 1, 2, 3, my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here the problem, what they did is that they put you 8 and the 9 alone. I have 2 ways in which I can do it. So I can either show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all tied. So here I have clearly my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or I can just group 2 of them. So I can group my 6 here, because I mean it still shows my multiples of 3 tied to 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Both options are possible. Continuing with number 8. Also, 6/8 means I have 6 eighth notes in a measure. So I need 1, 2, 3 together, 4, 5, 6 together. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So my problem is that I need my 3 to be on this side, right? My 3, 4, 5 cannot be tied. So I need to break this note. So technically this note, I need to break it into a 1 alone plus a 2. This is 3, right? So I need the 1 alone plus the 2. So that would be this one, 1, plus a 2, which I will tie. So that would look like this. I would have 1, 2, 3 tied to a 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in my count, I can clearly see the 1, 2, 3 on one side, the 4, 5, 6 on one side, but the fact that these are tied, it doesn't change the way it's playing. I know it's a long note of 3. This is a long note of 3. This is a long note of 3. I just wrote it in a different way. Number 9, 4, 4. So here I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So here I need the 1 and alone, the 2 alone, the 3 alone, and the 4. But here, if you noticed, I have this tied to this, which technically equals to a half note. So why all this complication? So I can simply have here 1 and, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know many of you are going to ask me, why don't I write it like this? Because I show my 1, my 2, my 3, my 4. In the simple meters, it's okay to group some together. And I can group my 2 and my 3 here because I'm breaking على الآند. This is why it's not good. But here, if I have مثلا 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, it's okay to have beat groupings as long as you don't separate them in the end. That's why I'm telling you, don't take it too far. This one, if I want to write the counting, I would get 1E and 2E and 3 and 4. So my problem is here. The 1E and is correct. 2E and, the 3 and the and should be together. So this, if I want to rewrite it properly, it would be 1E and, 2E and, 3 and 4. So 1E and, 2E and, 3 and 4. You see much clearer because I have a pulse here on the 2, on the 3, and on the 4. The next exercise I would like us to look at is assignment 1.6. So I'm going to explain it, and I would like you to do it for next time at home. So we're only going to be doing this one, and this one. Only these. These ones you're not responsible of. So I want you to look at these and tell me the time signature. So here you notice they didn't put like 3, 4, 4, 4. You have all these notes and you have to tell me what's the right time signature. So calculate how many notes, and another clue is how they're beamed. So think about it for next time. The other assignment I would like you to do also is 1.9. So here, as you noticed, we have 1 in 3, 4, 1 in 6, 8. And if you notice, always the 3, 4 and the 6, 8 are exactly the same mathematically in terms of note. But I have to write them differently. So I'm going to show you just an example of like one measure each for you to know how to do. My advice for you is start by writing the counting. So here I'd have 1, 2, and 3, 1 and 2, E and 3 and. So because this is simple, I need the 1 alone, the 2 alone, and the 3 alone. So the 1, okay, good. The 2 and need to be beamed, and the 3 should be alone. Here the 1 and beam, all the 2, so the 2E and need to be beamed, and the 3 and. This way I showed clear difference between 1, 2, and 3. So if I had to write this down, that would be 1, 2 and 3, and then 1 and 2E and 3 and. You see, this way is the correct way because I'd have 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2E and 3 and, where I'm showing clearly every single beat alone. With the 6, 8, the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6. So here I need to have 1, 2, 3 on one side, 4, 5, 6 on one side. So here that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For this measure, there's nothing to do. It's correct as it is. Here I have 1, 2, 3, and on one side, 4 and 5, 6. So these need to be beamed, and then these need to be beamed. So then here I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first measure does not change. Remember, these cannot be beamed, the quarter notes. Here I would have 1, 2, 3, and beamed. These would be double. And then 4 and 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, and 4 and 5, 6. And here then my pulse is clear where it comes. So I would also like you to solve the rest.